Let me begin with you, Governor Tharaka-Nithi. Thank you for being with us. Isn't it too soon for Kenya to start talking about 2022, 5 months just after the repeat presidential election?
Well, I will absolutely want to agree with you on this one. However, you look at the year we are in at the moment, it is that the year for the election cycle where people prepare, or Kenya prepares for a new presidency in terms of a change in 2022. And therefore, just like in 2013, just like in 2002, just like it will be in 2032, we expect people to start preparing themselves.
Can they not prepare behind the scenes? They have to make public pronouncements and make the country feel like we're just about to go to another election.
And fortunately, I have not heard any pronouncement so far. You know, politics are normally fueled by fans, supporters. If you look at the people who are contesting for these seats, they have not come out live. You've just heard a few minutes ago Senator Gideon Moi being told by his supporters, can you come out and declare? Because those are the people who fuel the politics, as it were. And as much as we want to really bury this or cover it, it's like trying to just light a fire and cover it with something. There'll still be smoke, definitely.
All right, let me take this to Martha Karua. Thank you for being with us tonight. Perhaps a foreigner visiting Kenya for the first time would be forgiven for imagining this 2022 is in 3 months' time and Kenyans are going to an election because of the manner in which we are hearing about it. Are you concerned?
Absolutely not. It's never too early to start a campaign, but those elected and holding office must be able to multitask, carry out the duties for which they have been elected and for which as taxpayers we are paying them, and also on the side carry on with their campaigns for the future. What is happening is that we are not seeing much happening. We are seeing more campaign and use of office to advance one's agenda rather than serving the people. I think that's where we are going wrong. Otherwise, it's never too early. I was in a presidential campaign and I campaigned for 3 years, but my job as a member of parliament did not suffer at all. So I wouldn't tell anybody not to campaign, but do the work you have been elected for.
All right, James Orengo, Senator, the handshake appears to have stirred the waters in as far as the succession politics are concerned, some seeing it as a threat for the deputy president. Do you share those views?
I do not share those views because I think when the announcement was made on the 9th of March between President Uhuru and Raila Amolo Odinga, they stated in that communique the 5 or 6 fundamental issues that were of national concern that needed to be addressed. That some would eventually require legislation, but looking at all those items that they brought out in the communique, I do not think that it should cause any rifts or stir the waters if people were committed to discussing without fear those 6 items that it put on the table. But I think I agree with Martha. What really would cause a problem is particularly those in government who will weaponize politics for purposes of 2022, using public institutions, using the infrastructure of government to try and stimulate discussion and carry out campaigns for 2022, while forgetting about the agenda of Jubilee as a government. Because, you know, many of them are not talking about the big 4 agenda items that, you know, they announced, I think, about some months ago. That has been put in the back burner. What is now of concern to them is what is going to happen in 2022. And I think that's where the mistake lies.
Right. And Karua, there are those who argue, if you look at Kenya's political history, the tribal nature in which it has been painted, you have seen scenarios where, unfortunately, the political and entrenchment ethnicity-based nature of it, the Kikuyus and the Kalenjins came together and the Luos are thrown out. Odinga Kenyatta, the older. And then you saw the Kikuyu Luo come together, 2002 Kibaki Tosha, Kalenjin out of the equation, and the other tribes falling in place. And then 2013 Kikuyu Kalenjin, the Luos out. So that those that are rattled by the handshake are seeing now an agreement between the Kikuyu and Luos. And whilst an unfortunate way of looking at things, it's a reality of the tribal politics of Kenya. What do you make of this, Martha?
I think as leaders, we have to try and develop our democracy to a place where a person offers their policy, not their ethnicity, to the people. And I think we have to break that jinx. I do not see the handshake as a Kikuyu-Luo pact. I see two leaders who are willing to move forward and heal the rifts that exist. Just in the same way, the president and the deputy tried to heal that rift. Only I think they went as far as getting the vote. Not much work has been done to actually tackle the underlying causes. So what I would say is that we have a responsibility as leaders to do something to de-ethnicize the campaigns, the politics of Kenya, and also to demonetize, because our politics is now all about money, nothing else, including elected leaders following others for handouts. Yeah. We've become people of handouts, from leaders to the electorate.
Right, and the DP, the president rather, Governor, has expressed his displeasure with this pronouncement. We heard him earlier on, the 2022 politics, saying it is time to actually work. Do you think this could portend a fallout in Jubilee? Because we've heard now other members still going on with this despite that caution.
First of all, allow me to say that I would like to associate myself with what has been said by the two leaders, only to some extent, that the campaigns that are taking place, if there are any taking place, they are not taking place over press conferences in boardrooms. I have seen leaders who are working out there, and as they sell the agenda for, they also talk about these issues. And I also not want to sit here as an elected leader and let my friend Mother Karua get away with demonizing leaders about taking handouts and following other leaders, as it were. People are working. Because the issue of handouts, in this particular case, being associated with leaders, may be the wrong notion, because you may find leaders who move with other leaders, and it's true.
But can you
cannot
speak,
move on your own.
Can you speak conclusively and authoritatively on not taking handouts? You're not with every leader in every situation. You can speak for yourself.
If you see governor with the deputy president in a function, it doesn't mean that the governor is following the deputy president for handouts, because the deputy president are given out any handout. It's about associating, it's about coming together to bring your ideas and also be able to work together for a common cause to help the Mwananchi. That is the most important thing. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, we cannot demonize it and say that people are not supposed to work together. I would like also to say that when the two gentlemen came together in 2013, which has been hailed as a very good thing, and I also agree it's a beautiful thing, because it's for the first time we saw politics where elections took place and we did not have any fights, as it were, in areas where we had fights before. Since then, a lot of work has taken place, and things that are visible are there. It cannot just be about unity alone. We've seen so much that have happened between 2013 and 2017.
Yeah.
And I know that the controversial handshake is bringing a lot of misgivings by other quarters, as it were, and this deliberate effort was achieved in 2022. And I want to say this is part and parcel of politics. But as for the players who are playing this politics, look at the park as it is at the moment. Because in every cycle of elections, we normally have several people who have declared their interest. Mm-hmm. Tell me, in this particular case for 2022, who has declared the interest? As it were, we only see
It goes without saying it is seen when it comes to the case of William Ruto.
It's like several people running in a park, and then one person breaks and charges ahead. What happens in that particular case? That particular candidate starts getting stones thrown from all over the place.
All right. Senator Orengo, let me come to you. If you were to advise the deputy president, do you think he is on a sprint on what is, in essence, a marathon early on before 2022?
I think he's in a very unique situation, and if anything, he has a lot to gain and a lot to lose depending on how he conducts himself. But I think at the moment, if he tries to, intensify the campaigns at this time when probably the president who is outgoing and is more concerned about his legacy, if he is more concerned about, going out there and campaign, and it is true that is every week, every month, and all throughout the year, and ever since the elections, he's been in a state of campaign. And I agree with Martha, the amount of money that is being used, is sometimes obscene, particularly when Kenya is running into debt in terms which we have not seen before. The economy is not growing. Jobs, we're having less and less jobs, although the figures that are coming out from the Treasury sometimes are misleading. In those kind of circumstances, if I was the deputy president, I would keep my eye on the ball so that at the end of the year of 2022, towards the elections, or rather around March 2022, he'll say, this partnership between us with Uhuru Kenyatta, this is what we have achieved. I think during the Grand Coalition government, there are things you could point out, and you could point to the economy that the partnership between Raila and Kibaki gave Kenyans a working economy, and there was a reduction of debt, and the rate of growth was expanding at terms that we had not seen before. So for the Deputy President Ruto, he has to show that this government is working, as opposed to those who are out there to show that, there's a lot more that could be done. So he has more to gain from a demonstration of a government which is obeying the law, respects the rule of law, respects democracy, and a government which is, respects human rights, and there are a lot of those things out there that if you can work on to show a difference, then he could come out shining in 2022. But I think he's in a state of panic, and I think that is totally unnecessary when his own boss and Raila Amolo Odinga has given assurances that what they are trying to do has nothing to do with 2022. It is about Kenya, and it's Kenya beyond 2022 and beyond, the next 50 years or so.
Yeah, because it's apparently the entire political class, or largely in terms of Jubilee, if you like, Karua, we have been seeing the deputy president hosting these delegations, and we'll have some of those pictures put up because we got them from his official handle on Twitter. He hosted Kenyan women parliamentarians, he's hosted the women senators, Kisii County MPs, Nakuru County leaders. We'll put up those pictures in just a moment. And you had the president, whilst on his way back from Murang'a, telling the Jubilee leaders who are trying to, prop themselves up as the good deputy for Ruto come 2022. How do we move to actual work? Because the big concern is, how does this discourse help Wanjiko, everyday issues, and resolve everyday issues for Wanjiko, Karua?
I would first like to say that I'm surprised that Governor Muthomi is not very happy that I've talked of handouts. Handouts are a fact. Even our time, handouts were there. They were not as widespread as now. And handouts do not get to every leader. Those who take handouts know themselves. Even when as leaders we give money to the electorate, not everybody comes for that money. Those who accept it know themselves. So let's not deny the obvious. Now, about delegations This is exactly what was happening last year, 2017, during elections. Delegations everywhere. I think over-mobilization for 2022 for people in office, we want to compare that mobilization with the amount of effort in doing things for the people. And launching projects that are not starting is not working. We want to see policies being passed. We want to see issues being addressed. Like now we have floods everywhere, and we are shortly going to have lack of water or scarcity of water. We want to see real things happening. We want to see runaway corruption being attended to so that the good projects Jubilee has are implemented. Otherwise, they'll never get implemented. So yes, the president's concern appears real, that overemphasis is being given to 2022 by those in office at the expense of service to wananchi. Can we see some balance? And leaders ought to create this balance without waiting to be whipped by the top leader.
All right, thank you very much, Madam Karua. Stay with us, as well as Senator Rango from Siaya County. He's live for us there. Governor Njuki is with me in studio. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to shift gears a little bit and talk about those proposed constitutional amendments around expanding the executive and introducing another tier to government. Stay with us. Keep your thoughts coming. #Checkpoint at Sophia Wanuna.